Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're talking about Warhammer Age of Sigmar. This video is sponsored by the Game Bunker. More on that later. Warhammer Age of Sigmar, a new battle scroll to tidy up before the General's Handbook. Alright, so I'm not sure exactly what this is all about because we got the General's Handbook coming out very shortly. So let's take a look at what Games Workshop is dropping at the last minute. With the new General's Handbook 2025-26 just a week out from stores, it's time for a new battle scroll. As usual, the update is based on the feedback and data collected by the Warhammer Design Studio, with some new tweaks to align rules with the new season of match play. Read on for a summary of all the most important changes. Alright, so the new battle scroll is going to tidy up in time for all of the new stuff, including the new season, so I'm assuming this is going to carry over into the new season. First up are instructions on how to use your new free Scourge of Ghyran rules, including the war scrolls, faction rules, battle formats, and enhancements, as well as how they work with armies of renown. One of the biggest changes is the new regimental forces rule. If one player has more regiments than the opponent at the start of the battle, then once per game that player can choose to reroll their priority roll. This provides an extra wrinkle to the proceedings, preventing a low regiment double turn from being quite so certain. Okay, I really like that because previously, if you finished dropping first, you basically got to automatically have the priority roll was just a little bit too strong. I think now having it a reroll essentially gives you a chance to beat the person, but doesn't just straight up guarantee it. And then it's once per game, so not just like at the beginning of the battle. So I think overall there's a really good change, as it's going to make the game still random, but give you a little bit of an edge. Pitch battle profiles are the next big change. Enhancement choices, faction terrain features, spell lores, and manifestations now cost points, and some changes have been applied in this update. Okay, so again, that's really good because some factions don't have terrain, so they're just naturally at a disadvantage because all the faction terrain is really good and some is better than others, and then they offer benefits. So if you don't have faction terrain, you're automatically losing out. Now if it costs points, that balances it up a little bit. And then spell lores and manifestations now costing some points, also going to help just kind of balance things out a little bit. As some people's spell lores or manifestations or some of the generic ones are like really good, as where others are a little bit lackluster. And then same thing goes for enhancements too. So I think overall adding some points to like these four little things gives Games Workshop the ability to tweak an army based on their rules and resources available to them outside the actual unit's points. Elsewhere, points reductions have been applied across factions. The Battletone supplements for Stormcast Eternals, Beasts of Chaos, and Bonespitters now move to Legends. Okay, so they announced it a long time ago, a bunch of units from Stormcast Eternals, and then all of Beasts of Chaos and Bonesplitters officially going to Legends. So we basically had a year that people could play with them before they went away. Now they are officially gone forever. The usual FAQ and errata sections remain, and there are a few minor changes across factions. It only makes sense that the Karos Fateweaver would have foreseen the change to battle tactics in the General's Handbook 2025-26, and accordingly his Oracle of Eternity ability now lets him swap out one battle tactic card once per game. He has also been granted the ability to launch Bolts of Change, improving his presence on the battlefield. Alright, so specifically some buffs to Karos Fateweaver. For Spearhead games, the Cast Iron Company, Blades of Lurid Dream, Fluxblade Coven, and Heartflare Troop all receive slight balance changes as part of the rules update. Okay, so some little changes for Spearhead. You can now download the document via the link below. Now a quick word from today's sponsor, Game Bunker. Game Bunker carries a full range of Games Workshop products, including miniatures, terrain, paint tools, and more. Game Bunker offers 15% off MSRP for most Games Workshop products with the discount code WHMS. Receive free shipping in the continental United States on orders over $145. Online orders ship out within 24 hours. Game Bunker is a veteran-owned business. Use affiliate link below, enter discount code WHMS to save 15% on most items at checkout. For fast, friendly service with a discount on your favorite tabletop wargaming purchases, visit GameBunker.net and let them know that Warhammer Man sent you. Alright, so if we just jump over here to the recently added, we see a bunch of stuff. So we have Spearhead Cities of Sigmar, OCR Bone Reefers, then we have the Battle Scroll Summary, we have the Tournament Organizer Pack, we have the Faction Pack Daughters of Cain, we have Rules Updates, Spearhead Ogre Maw Tribes, Faction Pack Disciples of Tzeentch, Battle Profiles, Blank Path to Glory War Scroll, Faction Pack Hedonites of Slaanesh, Faction Pack Caradon Overlords, Faction Pack Cities of Sigmar, and Spearhead Seraphon. So a bunch of new stuff right here. Let's check out the Battle Scroll Summary. Alright, so we see the Battle Scroll Summary June 2025, Core Rules and General's Handbook, Regiment Forces, Battle Profiles, and then Spearhead. So essentially the Spearhead section just listing off the 4 new Spearheads, and then also some tweaks to some of the existing Spearheads. Then we see the Battle Profiles. It says a limited number of dominant enhancement choices, faction terrain features, spell lores, and manifestation lores now cost points. So it sounds like not everything is costing points. And then we see points reductions for nearly every faction, focused on non-hero monsters, war machines, including chariots, and non-wizard priest infantry and cavalry heroes. and then updated regiment options for Warhammer Legends units to allow heroes to join other regiments and or allow other heroes to join their regiments. And then for the core rules and General's Handbook, we have regimental forces. If one player has more regiments than the opponent to start at the battle, then once per battle that player can reroll the priority roll after seeing the result of both players' rolls, but before determining priority for the battle round. Split battle profiles and rules updates into 2 documents, added a free tournament organizers pack download, added seasonal variant, Scourge of Gyran, faction rules and war scrolls, and instructions for how to use them in your armies. Okay, I do like that they split the battle profiles and rules updates into 2 documents. The idea that they were putting it all in one and you could get everything in one place was like great until you realize that it's Games Workshop and it's like 100 and something pages long, because it just became like ridiculous at that point in time. Overall, pretty good summary. Definitely looking forward to the new season of Warhammer Age of Sigmar, as we've been playing a lot more lately. We've been playing a ton of Spearhead, a ton of Sigmar, and the game overall is definitely in a good place. Sounds like they made some good changes, and I am really looking forward to Gyran. So obviously it'll take a little time to jump into this, check out the General's Handbook, and get used to like all the new rules and changes. Let me know if there's anything in particular that you noticed a change in a good way, a bad way, or that you're hoping changes. Always like to hear back from you guys in the comments. And as always, special thanks to the Game Bunker for sponsoring the channel. Check out the link in the description to save 15% on most Games Workshop products with code WHMS at checkout. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm out of here.